Ngā mana o te motu, tēnā koutou katoa. A big step this week to ensure expectant Māori mama feel safe as they progress through pregnancy and birth. Last year, a workforce survey found of nearly 3,300 practising midwives, just 8%, that's 273, are Māori. Not only are Māori underrepresented in the workforce, they're overrepresented in negative birth statistics. Now the Midwifery Council is mandating cultural safety training for all midwives. Irena Smith spoke with Mama, who said earlier efforts could have made all the difference to their birth experiences.
These are some of the first sounds baby Te Hira heard when he was born. His mum, Te Tai Tokerau, wanted to have as many of her cultural and spiritual practices as possible be included during his birth.
That was like the best part, being able to have my sisters in there with me and play our taonga puro and do our karakia tohi over our pepe and whilst he's coming out, and yeah, it was just beautiful.
There's the muka and
I made that myself through the hapua.
Yeah.
The muka, made my own hui ipu for our pepes, my whenua. Having that all there and then mum coming to take it away to our whenua, that was just the norm.
Hello, this handsome boy. Tēnā koe.
Through every contraction, my sister would play the hui and I would breathe with the sound coming out of my, the oro out of my waha as I'm breathing him down.
Right, let's see how big he's gotten.
And my other sister had the porotiti on my nono, just, pulling it down, like helping Baba come down, and I could feel it all as it was happening. Yeah, it was pretty powerful. And the room, the anointing in the room, it was just so hot.
It's you as toe, eh?
There's a special one, this one. Oh, they all are, but yeah. The pōtikia always ends up being the wise one out of the pack.
Did you love that wai'u?
Te Hira is Te Tai Tokerau's 8th baby, and she's lucky to have a Māori midwife that understands her needs. But it wasn't like that during some of her earlier pregnancies.
My first time, I didn't have a Māori midwife. There was a bit of misunderstanding, the communication there, coming from being raised in kind of half te ao Māori, te ao Pākehā. Not being understood, that was my main barrier that we had. And I still kept her as my first, second, third child's midwife as well, because I didn't want to change and have to repeat that same cycle of having to explain myself over and over again. So it took a bit of time to gain that relationship with her, so she would understand more of my needs, being Māori.
It's a similar story for Emiko Sheehan, a mother of 2.
When we moved to the Waipara, it was really hard to find a Māori midwife, and I couldn't, so I kind of just went with the first midwife I could find. She wasn't Māori, but she was supportive. Well, when we were talking, she was supportive of all of the tikanga that I wanted to bring in to my birth. But then when it kind of came down to it, it didn't really happen how I wanted it to.
Yeah.
When it came down to it, I don't know, I felt like she kind of was like, oh, this is not me, and wasn't super supportive about that. So this time I was really, I just wanted someone Māori who understood. So as soon as I found out that I was hapu the second time, I was on to finding a Māori midwife, just mostly for that cultural understanding, really, like not having to explain why I want certain things, why I want it low light, or I want my mum there as well as my partner. Like I don't have to explain it, and my midwife understands where I'm coming from as well.
So this is like a framework.
Irena Smith was that midwife. She says the new training has helped build on what she already knows and given her more confidence.
We used to have the tauranga kaupapa competencies, and each one, it kind of had an outcome, but that was it. And now it's broken down into pieces to know kind of where we sit, where we're heading towards, and then how we can be more incorporating it, I guess.
Tamara Karu manages Ngā Maia, the Māori Midwives Trust. When she was training a decade ago, the worlds of midwifery and mātauranga Māori did not coexist. They clashed.
E au e kura ana ki te kura o Wintec. I mea mai, te māhita o taua mai, mea mai, do you want me to make you a better Māori or better midwife? Nā kona i tupu ai te riri. Mō te nui o te kino, o te mahi kaikiri. Hoki ai au ki te kāinga, kia whakamōhio ate ki taku whānau i pērā ngā kōrero o te mahitara. I pakuriri katoa hoki rātou, mo te he o te rā kōrero o te rārerenga. Ko wai te hea ka pohe nōna te mana ki te whakamana ia. Kia tū Māori ahau. So this popo was from...
Encouraged by her whānau to carry on and be part of the change, Tamara got her degree. She has since taken up the challenge to help lead the Tūranga Kaupapa education program, which is compulsory for all midwives.
It was acknowledged by Midwifery Council quite early, and New Zealand College of Midwives, who adopted it into their cultural safety framework and standards of competence. Those standards are monitored by what we call midwifery standards with review. So every 3 years, a midwife does need to sit in front of a small panel and share what they've done in the last 3 years and how they've achieved competencies. But the accountability sits on the midwife as an individual to progress, acknowledge, recognise the learning gaps that they might have. And I want to say it has sit quite dormant amongst the profession. And so the training becoming compulsory, we hope to change that.
Changes are also being made at the top. This whakatau is for new members of the Midwifery Council, including 3 Māori, joining co-chair Kylie Clark. There will now be 4 Māori councillors at the top table, alongside their Pacifica and Tauiwi colleagues. It will be their job to oversee the rollout of the new cultural safety program.
The significance is huge. It's something to celebrate. It's a milestone. It has taken a bit too long to get to cultural safety being mandated for Midwifery Council, but nonetheless, we're here. The kaupapa is amazing, and working alongside Ngā Maia as well with this work is also teaching us and, enveloping us in lots of different ways. And just a good acknowledgement of the work that needs to be done in terms of cultural safety out in the community.
While the compulsory nature of the training has come as a challenge for some midwives, it's hoped they will all gain knowledge that supports them in their day-to-day work with a diverse range of mothers.
All of our whānau, everybody, come on.
It's appropriate for everybody in the profession to learn these skills, to learn how they can connect and engage and understand whānau in the community.
So a lot of mums-to-be would say that they actually hold some of that mātauranga themselves, but it's actually the midwives that aren't listening to them and it's not part of their training. So is that them opening up to actually what Māori mums-to-be are saying about their cultural needs as well?
Wouldn't it be wonderful if the Haora Māori principles within it could be shared across, health sector? And if we just focus on maternity, when a woman becomes pregnant, she meets for the first time a rather large group of health professionals, from their GP to an ultrasound to the lab work. So we're just one component of care, and would love to be able to have success with what we're doing and then share it across the sectors.
He's looking at you too.
It's a step towards making one of the most precious moments a memorable one for whānau for all the right reasons.
Ai, koia kei a koe, Irena. Hei te wā e hoki tahi anō ai tātou, we meet a woman taking on the world from Te Tai Tokerau. Nau mai hoki mai anō. A homespun handmade business is setting out to take on the world from Tai Tokerau. An entrepreneurial makeup artist is putting her knowledge of te tai ao and te ao Māori to work to create an eco-friendly beauty brand. Ngā-Atawhainga Creagh went to meet the woman behind Moka Eco Fibre Innovations.
I tupu mai a Shari Wilkinson I tāheke, ka tata atu ki kaikohe I te Tai Tokerau. I noho i te āhurutanga o tōna whānau hapu me tōna marae. E ko tāna I noho pūmau tērā taiao ki tōna ngākau ā moroki noa nei.
Back then, everything that we did basically was all amongst nature in the taiao. So we were constantly outside. I was constantly exploring all the plants, just really living off the land. We had a lot to do with the marae. It was part of, daily life. Ko ngā pui me te rarawa o iwi, he uri ahau no ngā hapu katoa o te hokianga, no tahi ki roa ahau, engari kei Waikaraka whangarei e noho ana. Okay, hi mama, honeys. I've birthed 7 daughters. I'm very proud of my babies. Let's put that apron on. Okay, now this is going to be your muka. Muka came about from myself having my own range at the time of lash extensions. And I was really dissatisfied with the fact that none of these lashes are getting made in Aotearoa. Most of them were all plastic. They were synthetic. And I was thinking, oh my God, these ladies are putting these lashes on their eyes and the lashes are coming away and they're going into our environment. So I kind of said to myself, I wonder what we've got in Aotearoa. What do we have here? What do we have in our natural environment? And a family member at the time said to me, what about possum? And I was like, what about possum? And then we have our possum tails. The reason we use the tail is because it's nice and long. It's the longest part out of the possum. I found the supplier for the possum tails. They use, cruelty-free trapping process. And this beautiful muka has been dyed with our tānekaha, which is this bark here. I figured out how to make strip eyelashes from muka fibre. It was all about getting the muka strip and then being able to knot the brushtail fibre onto the muka strip. Okay, there you go. Got your piece. What I had envisaged was these beautiful groups of not only wahine, but, whoever would love to come and in like a wānanga style to be, doing this mahi. You get a lot of satisfaction from creating something with your hands and the process itself. And I feel as though this is something that we've been doing in the past. Maybe not making eyelashes, but, coming together. I have a loom, which is the same loom that you use for making korowai, and, the process itself is really beautiful. The first couple of pairs, wow. I thought they were amazing, of course. And then I wore a pair over to my friend's house and she was like, yeah, they look great. Just make sure that you, maybe look at people that way. So, there was the whole refining the process some more.
Ka mutu ana tana ho miro miro I ngā hurukamo, ka mahue tonu ko te wāhi ki te whakarapa.
Eyelash glue is in the top 10 most toxic beauty products in the world. And what that looks like is it's got ingredients in it that are known carcinogens. As a child, everything that we did basically was all amongst nature in the taiao. So we were constantly outside. I was constantly exploring all the plants. the biggest lesson, I guess, that I have taken from that now is discovering that beautiful gel, pia harakeke, and being able to now convert that into eyelash glue.
I take a te ingoa te Pākehina I tana kuia ia mere ana moka. Nāna I whakaporongoi mo tana hapori te take. Ko ia te tahi I tūmata I te pauwhirinaki o te takiwa, a I whakawhiwhia ki aia te tohu ratonga hapori ia tā Edmund Hillary.
I just want to honour her for the woman that she is, has been, is, and continues to be, to us and the rest of our whānau too. Nice mixing, Finny. That's the one. Oh, it's all right, sweetheart. So when it was a concept, I was a solo mum at the time. It was pretty tough times, to say the least. I was trying to maintain, a protection order. My ex had breached the protection order on so many accounts, actually, that I had to follow through. And he went to prison. So I had these little girls that were... Oh my goodness. Checkers. I said I was going to be fine. Hi.
You're starting to cry.
Yes, I am. I am starting to cry. For what? Something you will never know about, thank goodness, my darling. I probably don't reflect enough on those days. But when I do, and I think about my daughters, yeah, I'm just very proud of my babies, proud of my daughters, proud of us for everything that we've come through, and grateful to be here. Grateful to be here in the now. And probably just need to reflect. Sometimes it's good to look back, I guess, and remember, remember how far you've come and celebrate that, probably. Yeah.
Ko tae atua hau ki whangarei ki te whakamahi ngā whakapaipai a Ataahua. Kia panea taku mata e Shari. I tū atu I te waihanga hurukamo me te pea harakeke ko hangaia ngā praihe ki te huru nanikoti.
Feels so nice on my skin.
I look at this industry that I'm in and I just know that it is causing so much damage. Not only to our tile, but to our bodies with the chemicals. And it's something that just continues. It's one of those things that when you know something, you can't unknow it. And I feel a deep responsibility. And I think maybe that's something that I've gotten from my nana, Miriana.
Do you need much glue?
You actually don't. That one little drop, that is enough.
Do you have to wait long for it to dry?
I don't think you have to wait too long. It's usually around 10 to 15 seconds.
Uh-oh.
Okay, right. Okay, let's get the other one.
Yeah. She's got really white eyes.
Nō reira, e kite a koutou e te rere hua ana mahi, engari aha ko te rere hua, me ua ka whakatūtuki.
You are more powerful than you ever think. Don't ever give up. You know that, your whakapapa runs deep and runs strong, and don't ever forget where you come from.
Nō reira, ko muka marika tēnei e ngunguru nei. He koha nui ki te ao I tūmata I tā heke, a I naia nei he mea ka mamao ki nuku o te whenua.
Tino, ata mai ne tēnā wahine, right. So hei muri I te wā whakatā, the late great poet Maya Angelou in te reo Māori and on stage in Tairāwhiti. Ko Toki mai anō ki tā tātou hōtaka kawe pūrongo. Te Tairāwhiti Arts Festival was born of Tuia 250 commemorations and since has been a must event, attend event that is, every year on the East Coast. Among this year's offerings is acclaimed American poet Dr Maya Angelou's works being brought to life by a rōpū of incredible wahine toa and mātanga reo. The bringing together of their talents is Ora Maia. Ataahua Papa co-produced Ora Maia and she joins us now from Tūranga. Morena e te tuakana, e pehe ana koe e te atanei. How are you?
Morena, kanu i te ora, me te koa i te whakatiranga i nā pō.
Ai, nō reira, me kōrero ki a tātou e pāna ki tēnā. Talk to us about that performance, which was the first one last night. Ne, pēhea?
Pai rawa, haruru mai te whare i te koa o te tangata. I te kitenga atu i ngā wāhine toa, ēnei wāhine pūrotu nei, i a rātou mahi i roto i te whakaari, nō reira. He pō, he rawe te pō, he pō anō, hei te pō nei.
Ai. Engari ina pō, korena mai, ko wai ngā wahine tūana ki te atamira. Who were those incredible women that stood on the stage last night?
We're very, very lucky to have had the awesome talents of Maisie Rika, Miriama McDowell, Irena Kōpū, Tuakoi Ohia and Mere Boynton as the 5 wahine that we brought together to become the voices of Dr Maya Angelou, me ona ruri, i roto i te reo Māori. But also we have the absolute talent of Māori running Koka and a band of musicians that she has brought together to create the soundscape and to create musical backing for some of the poems. So the poems it's not like a poetry reading or a poetry recital. What we did, so let me just give you a bit of a whakapapa about the project. So in 2021, in my role as Kaihotu Māori at the Auckland Arts Festival at Te Ahure Toi o Tāmaki, I curated a program called Wahine Toikupu. And this was because the Kotahiro Puka Puka had engaged the services or had engaged the talents of the wahine graduates from Te Panekiretanga o Te Reo. Te Panekiretanga o Te Reo Māori tasked some of their wahine graduates to translate some of the poems of Maya Angelou into Te Reo. Te Kotahiro Puka Puka picked that up and is now publishing a book of those poems. And in 2021, I curated a show called Wahine Tukupu at the Civic Theatre in Auckland to celebrate International Women's Day. And so that was the translators coming in to read the poems that they had translated, which was awesome. Tama Waipara came to that show. And so for the last couple of years, we've been talking about what might be the next steps for this project, other than poetry readings, which is, awesome. But we felt that with a bit of music and some theatre and some dramatic context, we would be able to bring together the show. And so Ora Maia was born. That's a couple of years in the making and planning.
Tāhua rawa tēnā. Tēnā koe hoa, kei konei a Tama, kua taima ia, nō reira, tēnei te mihi atu ki a koe. Thank you so much for giving us some whakapapa to this actual performance that happened in Tairāwhiti Inopo. Nō reira e te tuakana, tēnei te mihi atu ki a koe.
Kia ora.
Nai nei, Tama Waipara. Ka tahi anō koe ka tai mai. You've just arrived from Gisborne. How was last night?
Superb. I mean, Ataahua rawa atu, I ngā wā katoa. Just so proud of our team, proud of Ata, proud of all of those connected links that lead to something special like this occurring. The cast was superb. It's sort of an experiment in one sense. So the vision going right back to think about these poems and how they might translate worldview, context, reo. That's one thing. But for it to then take on so many different, arms and legs and momo is really special. And it takes a trust and a courageousness and a bravery to really bring that to life. And that's, I think, what I'm proudest of with our whole team.
When you talk about bravery and trust in bringing this, what do you mean by that?
Well, this is a devised work. So that means that all they know is there's some poems, they've been translated, there's a team of people with different jobs, and then during a 2-day or 3-day wānanga, they all came together and had conversation, had deep thinking.
Yeah.
I mean...
How can you not with Dr Maya Angelou's work, ne?
Well, and how can you not with this group of people?
Yeah.
You know, I mean, we were held and guided by mātanga reo the whole way. So Ruth Smith, you know, recent double Silver Scroll winner. No te Tairāwhiti hoki. But, you know, in all seriousness, it's that... So for Ata and I suppose, we were very intentional in who we asked. So Irena Kōpū, Maisie Rika, Tuakoi Ohia, Miriam McDowell, Mere Boynton, seasoned experts in their own respective fields, very different skills, backgrounds, contexts. But if you think about the stretch and the breadth of Maya Angelou's just her brain alone, what is encompassed in that immense possibility, you know, this group of wahine really bring themselves to this piece. So, you know, for example, some of the poems have been rendered into waiata. And more than one kind. So, you know, you have tangi apakura, you have kind of boogie down grooves, and wrapped around the entirety of this is the music of Māori running koka and a band of 7 exquisite jazz musicians. And, you know, all in preparation, I suppose in collaboration. So we have Ataahua, Auckland Arts Festival, Te Tairāwhiti Arts Festival, also the Wellington Jazz Festival, which is a role I'm moving to, or have moved to. But it takes that combination, also then, again, the vision of Kotahiro Puka Puka, whose publication, He Kupu Nā Te Maya, which contains all of these incredible poems, will be launched on the same date as the October 19th performance in Wellington at the Jazz Festival. So synergy. And, you know, it goes without saying we're in a time that demands not only this level of statement, still we rise, but also this quality of statement, because I think our collective journey as a nation is with te reo Māori, and our love of who we are at home demands this kind of work to be made and supported and nurtured and grown. I mean, you know, there's already interest externally, you know, from other nations for our version of this. So I think, it's just a joy and a privilege to be a part of a project like this. Yeah, no doubt. It sounds beautiful. So there's another performance tonight. Yes, one more performance at Tairāwhiti Arts Festival at the Lawson Field Theatre in Gisborne. And then a little bit of a break, and then we go to the Wellington Jazz Festival, where we open at the Opera House, along with the publishing and the launch of the book. So good to have you join us this morning, but also go well in your new ventures ahead as well. Tēnā koe. Right, that's, as we were just talking about, there's another performance this evening at 6 p.m, Ora Maia at the Tairāwhiti Arts Festival, and next Saturday in Pōneke. Now, if you'd like a copy of the Puka Puka, Nā Te Maya, you can pre-order it through Auckland University Press. Well, that's Marae for this week. The team will be back with you next Sunday. Kia haumaru te noho. Hei te rawiki.